Very nice view, too.
Thank you. And they're all real, and yes, we've read them all.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
damn near.
probably so.
Well, I can recognize some of the books in the background. You have For Love of Torah right there.
Yep.
Yeah,
And I see an Eitz Chaim and several other Jewish texts.
yep.
Well, that's
That's
the Jewish.
That's
Yeah.
the Jewish quarter.
That's the Jewish quarter.
Jewish border. Okay.
This row and I put it that way. That row and that row are mostly, no, actually, that row and that row are mostly Jewish.
And is that an Encyclopedia Britannica behind you?
World Book,
World Book.
actually.
World Book Encyclopedia. All right.
nostalgia, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, like what's a world book?
It's like,
What's a
what's a
book?
rotary telephone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, well, I want to get you centered on the screen there. So you're good. Okay.
Have I lost the Jewish section?
Nope, it's still there. It's still there.
Sorry, you can stay in the picture, Stuart.
No. This is her show. I just work here. I'm the hired help.
Well, seriously, if my voice goes, Stu is
Then I'll come
going
in.
to be able to pick up because I've been very, very precise with my notes.
Okay, very good.
He can be a travel agent today if he has to.
Got it. Very good. So you have some water by you to,
Oh, my dear, I am drinking hot tea like there's no tomorrow,
it's all right.
but it's a chronic condition and it's something I have to deal with.
I'm so sorry about your voice issues, Carol.
No
That's so
kidding.
frustrating.
It is so frustrating.
Well,
I
let's
thought
I
you
can't
had
even
something
bear-
like I did that was easily resolved, but no such luck.
No, not really. I can't stand listening to it. I don't know about anyone else. It's just, oh,
let's see. Who do
Carol,
okay.
yes.
I forgot to, you have been a travel agent over 35 years.
Over 40.
Is it over 40?
Yeah. I mean, I actually wrote my own little introduction.
Okay, good, because then you can do it.
Okay.
Because we have used you in earlier days.
Yeah, true.
So, and I was just thinking about the first time we used you. It's the first time we went out of the country
Yes, yes.
to Mexico.
You know, what's crazy is I'm not now, I retired in 2009. I was at the same time, a paralegal for over 40 years.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Carrie Tillman.
Expecting about 9 people.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Well, we're still a few minutes to go, so.
Okay. I'm having my cantaloupe.
Oh, that's good.
And Mark is here, but he's sharing my screen.
All right.
Okay.
I'm listening, don't worry.
Mark bought me a camera and it did not work on my computer. And so,
Seriously?
yeah, it was like really weird. So he took the camera and I used my iPad because I'm more familiar with it. And my desktop doesn't have a camera, so it's not very good for Zoom.
Ah,
Ours is built in. It makes it easy.
Yeah, the next one I get, I'm sure it will be, but this one works for
Probably will.
everything but Zoom, so we haven't replaced it.
Oh, God, everything's opening up here. I don't know why is this all opening up.
see how we're doing here.
Or it could be an interloper.
Good.
You never know.
Hello, Joette.
Hi,
Hi, Joette.
hi,
We missed you last night.
thank you. I missed being there.
Yeah.
Enjoy your plum. It's going to be one of the last.
I know, I know. I've already excluded nectarines. They've been gone for a while.
Yeah, I know. I was bummed out. I haven't seen any for a while.
Well,
This
we've
is
been
my
eating
last one.
wonderful Harry and David Royal pears.
Oh,
Those are the best
They are the best.
for fall fruit. I mean,
All right.
hey, let's give it until what? It's only 1 minute to 3, so.
Right.
Wayne, we missed you this morning on the hike.
Cough drop in.
Hmm?
How distracting is the cough drop?
Try it. I mean, most times it's quietly taken.
no, I can't do that.
I just kind of tuck them in against my shoe.
I don't know, I think it's clanking
Nobody has that you. You're hearing that in your head.
against my teeth.
Doesn't it?
No.
No, not at all.
Okay. Hmm. I think it's gonna mess me up.
Take it out.
Gary, this is set up for automatic entry, so if we start and people come, they won't be disruptive because they can just come in automatically, right? Did we lose Gary?
I think we did.
Oh, okay,
Well,
well,
maybe not. We have Linda.
That's scary.
That's not thinking.
Losing them is not signing.
Chat.
So Tony, when I do it next week, I have to start the whole thing?
no, I started. You'll get a link just as if you were a regular viewer.
Okay, good, because Gary sent that whole thing about how to do it.
I know, I said, I already told my people that I would set up the hosting. So they
Okay,
don't
good.
have to worry about that.
Perfect, perfect.
And like Carol got a link and she just opened it. And
And then
When-
you make a host.
well, she didn't have any screen sharing, so I'm just gonna leave it the way it is and everybody will be on mute but her.
Perfect.
I'm gonna start at 5 after, so
Okay.
3 more minutes.
what?
If I can use my cough drop for that.
Editing out in November, December of last year and January, February this year of Screwball.
Oh, yeah. I do that periodically. Because we haven't done it for a while. I used to go in there and take out the old TV guides.
Oh,
Tony, did you have more registrants than are on screen?
There were 10, but I think some people might be zoomed out. And somebody asked me if we were recording this morning because there's been intergenerational parenting this morning, there was a hike this morning, and there was a Torah study. And some people can only take so many Zooms. So they said, will you please
And,
record? And I said, yes.
Yeah, because that's a lot of sitting in front of your computer for one day.
But they
Yeah,
said
but
they
whenever-
wanted to hear this, and it wasn't that they didn't want to hear it. It's just that,
I didn't want to hear it today.
yeah, so Carol, don't think that the topic wasn't of interest. It's just, program committee's gonna deal with our
Yes, I agree.
overbooking issue in a couple weeks. Okay, can we start? Everybody, can you please mute yourselves?
No, are we ready?
Go.
Yeah? Oh, Tony, you're mute. I don't know what you're saying. Okay. My name is Carol Zimring. I've been a member of .rel for 40 years. I've lived in Encino since 1968. I'm an independent contractor with Plaza Travel, which has been in business since 1985. And I've been a travel advisor for just a bit over 40 years. A long time. Okay, what is the role of a travel advisor? Generally, we book hotels, tours, cruises, rail travel, car rentals, any of which you can choose to do yourself easily. But also we create what are called FITs, flexible independent travel. And that means that we develop something exactly the way you want it, with the departure date the way you want it, the homebound as you want it. Budgets are very important. And we want to actually make your travel experience a pleasure, not a chore. So I didn't realize how many tips I had in my brain till I started writing them down. And therefore, I may have to move a little bit quickly. So buckle your seatbelts and let's get going. Travel, as you know, has become increasingly more difficult with competing sites, apps, COVID rules and regs, unreliable airline, travel come-ons that may be questionable. It just goes on and on. I could tell you that the best tip I could give you is to find yourself an experienced and alert travel advisor, so he or she can worry about all the things that are making travel difficult these days, but that's way too self-serving. So let's start with airline travel. There are numerous booking methods. You can go direct to the airline site, Expedia, Travelocity. Travel agents use consolidators, more about that later, and specialized travel advisor portals that are not available to the general public. So here are things for you to look for if you book yourself. There's a thought going around that Tuesdays or Wednesdays are the best days to book travel or to travel. I think there may be some actual factual points on that. It seems like there's a certain time, like at 10 p.m. on a Tuesday, that you could maybe get the best fares, but they keep changing. They change from moment to moment. A fare you see when you start your exploration of a trip may all of a sudden just disappear. So it is complicated. The most important thing with your tickets is, are they refundable? Can you change them? If you change them, what do you pay? All of that once your ticket is booked. These days, most tickets are non-refundable, but during the pandemic, the airlines started to allow free changes. The only thing you might have to pay if the fare is higher on your new trip is the difference between what you paid originally. So in most cases, if you book directly with an airline, they give you a grace period of 24 hours, during which time you can just cancel the whole thing. After that, you've got yourself a ticket. All right. Beware of the no frills ticket, which is called basic by most airlines. It gives you carry-ons only, no changes, no refunds. Ticket has no residual value if you don't fly, and no advanced seat assignments. The prices are intriguing, but seriously, danger, danger, danger. If you have an airline that you book most of the time, it's worth paying an annual fee for their level 2 credit card that gives you and your companion one free piece of baggage each that you can check, early check-in, early boarding, etc. If you have a regular credit card with that airline, make sure you're using your level 2 credit card, not travel with one. You're not going to get your benefits. Given the sky-high baggage rates, you'll probably recoup the fee by the second trip. Are you paying top dollar for premium business or first class travel? Do you wish you could afford upgraded travel? You might get a better deal by working with the travel advisor who has a working relationship with the consolidator. Again, more later. If you have frequent flyer mileage accounts, be sure to enter the number. You actually can enter that anytime up until flight time at the airport, but you may get some better seat opportunities if they see that you're part of their team. Frequent flyer miles, are they worth anything today? Well, you know what? Their benefits keep sliding lower and lower all the time. They just will make you have to pay more miles for, say, an upgrade than you did a month or two ago. It's frustrating. But if you fly frequently and you can stick with one or two airlines, yeah, you know, it might mount up, and occasionally you might get a free ticket. It's worth a try. When you book your ticket and everything is done, download the app for that airline. It's going to save you a lot of trouble when you go to manage your reservation, and it'll tell you when it's time to check in and how long you have before boarding, all kinds of good stuff that you're not going to find easily. If you book fairly far in advance of your trip date, keep going into your reservation using your app to make sure there have been no flight changes, that your nonstop is now a one-stop, or worse yet, has connections. We were going to St. Pete a few weeks ago on one airline. It was nonstop. All of a sudden, there was a connection. Our 4.5-hour flight was now 19 hours. Needless to say, we canceled the flight, and they were cool with that. And we booked and paid twice as much, but at least we didn't show up at the airport. Let's see. Oh, okay. Sorry about my ums, excuse me. I lost my place. Okay, once you're booked, don't think you're all done. There are lots of things to consider. So we've already handled looking at your reservation. One thing is really important, because your seat assignments, those primo seats you chose, may now be nowhere or scattered around the plane, or your traveling companion may no longer be with you. This happens especially if there's a change of equipment. So maybe a 737 is now a DC-10, I don't know what. But at that point, your seats generally are not maintained. So be mindful of that. The other thing is, if your arrival or flight time change and you have a car rental, be sure to update your rental company so that you know you're not getting there at 8, you're getting there at 9. Finally, keep in mind that Southwest and some of the so-called budget airlines do not have reciprocity agreements with other major airlines like United, Alaska, American, etc. That means that, let's say you're using, we're using, let's say, let's go back to our friend Southwest. You're going to use Southwest to get from here to Fort Lauderdale. And then from Fort Lauderdale, you're going to take a flight to meet your ship to London. You cannot have your luggage transferred from Southwest to your overseas carrier, which means you have to go to luggage, pick up your stuff, get yourself to the outbound airline, recheck your bags, and hope you're not too late. So just keep that in mind. That's a really big thing. Also, if something goes wrong, if you had American and they had cancellations, United might honor your ticket. They will not honor Southwest or Spirit or any of the budget airlines. Okay, on to cruises. Cruises are now probably one of the most popular forms of travel, except with COVID, which has really put a cramp in our style. But I think if you're a cruiser, you're kind of keeping up to date, reading the newspapers, listening to the news. You know who's going out. You know who had a trial and the trial didn't work, but they're coming back. And I think now if you're looking to 2022, you can book a cruise. We've done it. It's the end of March. We sure hope we're going to go. If not, the cruise line will cancel, will hold your money for you, or return your money, and all you're out is your vacation, which is very sad. Do you want a large ship or a small ship? Do you like meeting new people, or you're perfectly happy with your travel companion, don't want to bother with anybody else? If you're traveling alone, what type of cruising offers the best chance you have to meet other people easily? You want river cruising or ocean cruising? With ocean cruising, people say, oh, I think I'm going to get seasick. On the ocean going vessels now, these have stabilizers that are so amazing. You actually, most of the time, don't know you're on a ship, which for us, we don't like that. We like to know we're on a ship. But if you hit really, really severe weather, or perhaps you're traveling across the Tasman Sea to go from New Zealand to Australia, or you're taking Drake's Passage to get to Antarctica from Ushuaia, those are rocky. There's not much you can do. What you have are wristbands, meds, patches. Worst comes to worst, go down to the med office and get an injection. But really, at this point, I just haven't had people coming back and saying, oh, never do it again. I got so sick. With river cruising, on the other hand, the odds of getting seasick are like none. You're on flat rivers. It's very, very smooth, and you have no worries at all. By the way, if you do have concerns about possible seasickness, my recommendation is always take a lower deck, not a higher deck. Try to go midships as much as possible. So the lower deck is going to cost you less, but midships is going to cost you more. In the long run, I think they're going to balance each other out. Okay, river cruising is safe. It offers docking right in town. If you like cycling, you have bicycles right on hand. They allow for slower walkers like some of us. It's highly relaxing to sit in a nice lounge and watch the world go by slowly. You get to experience going through locks. It's very cool. It's educational because they usually will have experts on board for the areas you're going to be going to. You'll learn a lot while you're at sea. And in all fairness, the ocean-going vessels always have educational programs going. And I think that you come back so much the richer for having been right there and watching as things happen. So now we got premium cruise lines versus the usual good lines that we have used for years. So we've got Regent, we've got Seabourn, we've got Crystal, we got Silver Sea, and they're quite a bit more expensive than, say, Holland America, NCL, Celebrity, etc. So either way, you're going to find your fit. If you want a smaller ship, it's probably going to be one of the premium lines. If you want a larger ship or a mid-size, Holland America tends to have ships that are smaller than most of any of the others. And yeah, they're getting bigger and bigger even with Holland America, but it's good to know. People used to say, only elderly people go on Holland America. It's not true. Right now, I see passengers of all ages, little kids, elderly people in wheelchairs. Everyone is able to do cruising well. So let me see. Go on to the next. Excuse me a moment. Kosher cruising. If you want to keep kosher, the only quote unquote popular cruise line that's really going to make keeping kosher super easy is Regent, which is probably the most expensive of the lines. If you book as a kosher sailor and you put that in right at the beginning, they will take everything in there with your input. You will get a checklist of all the foods you want and in what quantities, and they will have lamb on board. They will have beef on board. They will have kosher chicken. All of these are there for you. On the other hand, Holland America does offer kosher travel. In truth, what you get basically are kosher TV, the old TV dinners. They're wrapped in foil and they're okay. They're pretty good. They will also double wrap fish for you in aluminum foil and do it the way you want. So it's not impossible. It just gets a little trickier. In terms of deciding what perks you want for your cruise, you have to consider your lifestyle. How much alcohol do you drink? Specialty coffees like Starbucks kind of things, soft drinks, juices. Do you think you're going to be drinking a lot of those? Then maybe an all-inclusive beverage package is best for you. Maybe it's a total waste of money. You're going to have shore excursions with ocean cruises. They are included, I should say this, in river cruises, almost everything is included. Gratuities, alcoholic beverages, certainly with meals, shore excursions, it's all there. With your ocean cruises, you're going to take probably a lot of excursions. And when you are doing your budget, remember that the add-on for gratuities and shore excursions can add maybe as much as 20% to your bottom line. So your budget there may be destroyed. Just be aware in advance. Keep track of what you're doing. Okay, land travel. Booking hotels. What should you use? Should you go to the hotel site directly? Should you use a booking engine like Expedia or TripAdvisor? How important is it to you to accumulate hotel night benefits? Then you should probably stick with one or two chains. Which sites are best? At this point, when you look at Expedia, hotels.com, Travel Advisor, they're all linked in together now. So there's almost no benefit for doing comparisons for the major booking engines. But if you like to accumulate nights with hotels.com, do it. Okay, check cancellation policies. this is really important. This is where people screw up. When you book that hotel night, see what the cancellation policy is. Is the booking non-refundable? Is there free cancellation up to X number of nights prior to the booking? But one thing I'll tell you, that if you fail to cancel when you needed to, the customer is never right, and cancellation is non-negotiable. You will have that on your credit card and you can go fight City Hall. You are not going to get rid of it. Okay, car rentals. I suggest you join one or two car rental companies, get their apps. It's going to save you a lot of time when you get to the airport. You may get to the counter, you may be able to skip the counter. That's a good thing. Book your car as early as possible. If you know you're going to need one, it might be 5 months away, but your air travel is booked. Book a car. What I found out is I check rates on a more or less regular basis, and sometimes they go down radically. I mean, I have actually seen my final rate to be 25% of what I booked originally. However, if there's a big event going on in your destination, there may be no cars available starting a month out, and then you've got a problem. Okay, should you use the company's site directly to book your car? Or should you maybe get a better deal with someone like carrentals.com or rentalcars.com or Expedia again? But the biggest problem with booking through a third party, and for instance, carrentals.com is third party. If you want to add things or make changes to your reservation and you call up Hertz, Hertz says, oh, you booked through a third party. We can't change any of that. You're going to have to do that through them. And that includes cancellation. So if you have to cancel and you're booked with Hertz, odds are good that they're going to say, go to your third party company because that's what you did. So car insurance. So if you have your own car insurance in the US, probably your coverage will be fine, even if you're out of your city or state. However, if you're going to be out of the country, I really would consider taking the insurance with the company. It may seem outrageous, but you're in foreign territory. You don't necessarily know all the rules. You don't know how recklessly the drivers in that country drive. So I would do that. I would never take the pre-fuel fill up option. They charge outrageous amounts. Good chance you're not going to be using all the miles and gallons you paid for. So just get yourself to a gas station when you're ready to leave your location, far enough away from the airport, you're not going to get gouged. But by all means, don't show up there having totally forgotten to refill, and have them do it for you because it's costly. All right, now we're to actually putting your trip together. First recommendation, purchase a good travel guidebook for your area. I still like Fodor's and Frommer's. I switch between the two for different reasons. Do not be intimidated by the weight or size of the book. You can always pull out just the sections you need and put the rest in the trash or hold it for maybe another time. Some travel books are better than others for a specific type of travel. Try to find one that seems to focus on your interests. Are you focused on finding hotels, sightseeing, one specific area of a country, finding sample itineraries for trips of varying lengths, etc. Do you tip in that country or not? Driving rules. Can you travel by train? Things to consider pro and con. What happens when you first enter the country? What can you expect on arrival? Very important. Before you're too far into planning your trip, whether you are taking a tour that has fixed dates and you think you like those dates and that's what you purchase, or you're setting your own dates, remember to check to see in your guidebook if there are any government holidays during your time there that will have major sites closed. Ditto for religious holidays, including ours. If outside the US, you have to worry a little. Are you arriving 2 days before Yom Kippur? Yikes, I didn't notice that. We have a cat with us now. Cat does not travel. Do you want to have a travel advisor put your trip together? Go to Costco or AAA. Go directly to a tour operator or cruise line. Where do you put your trust? That's something you have to decide. How many components to your trip are there really? Is this doing a little more complicated than you imagined? How hard will it be to put all the details of your trip together? Transfers, getting into the city, special extras, which we call value added terms, more about that later too, that your destination offers. Do you want to go to a wine tasting, a food tasting, a walking trip for food? For instance, visit a farm, ranch, animal reserve, boat rides, rail portions with pre-purchased tickets, sightseeing in areas often not open to the public. For instance, special dinner through whoever at the top of the Eiffel Tower. Should you hire a private guide for a location? Well, I am such an exponent of that. When Stu and I travel to a new city and we're doing it on our own, I have a private guide lined up for usually not the day we arrive, because there you're just getting your footing, but for the next day, yeah, spend at least a half a day with the guide. If you can afford it, go for a full day. Your guidebook and your computer is not going to tell you as you walk what you're seeing and why it's important. Where are their anecdotes? How to take the shortcut if you want to get from this to that. They go, oh, wait, I know there's something I want to show you. This is an archaeological wonder. Anyway, I love them. I always book them for my clients. They'll start out saying, I've got my little program on my app, and I'll say, please, just do it. And then if I'm wrong, tell me. I've never had anyone come back saying anything than the other. Oh, wow, that was so good. Okay, so when you find a guide, you must sort of check to see that they're going to fit in with your personality. And when you read about that guide, you usually can tell. I have found guides who are able to book Jewish portions of a place that I didn't even think had Jewish portions. I mean, I was surprised, but wow, they found we had a half-day tour. We could have used more. Right, trip protection insurance. We have the naysayers, we have the yay-sayers. My opinion, do not travel without it. I have seen tragic things happen. I have seen a person step off a curb in Rome, miss the footing, crash down, broke so many bones. This person was hospitalized for, I believe it was for 3 months. She says 3 months, some of which she was in a coma. She had to learn how to walk again. They had to go home with a medical doctor in first class and 2 nurses. She was still having infusions. Things happen. People say, oh, I don't get trip insurance because I never cancel. Yeah, well, what about COVID-19? You had to cancel. Were you protected? Sadly, probably not. What can you do about it today? You can consider cancel for any reason insurance. It's not a good deal ordinarily because mostly you're going to get maybe 75% of your money back. You may get future credit for the cruise or your airline or whatever. But what's nice about having trip insurance is the minute you have a problem, you contact your trip insurer and they take it from there. If it's a medical problem, if there are other problems, they'll help you too. They act as your concierge. You want a booking at some amazing restaurant you can't get near, they probably can do it for you. But if you report a medical incident, they will immediately find you a doctor wherever you are who speaks English, will have someone accompany you there, will arrange for hospitalization if necessary, change your airline reservations, everything you can imagine that could need help if you had a massive change or trip interruption, they can handle it. So I believe. Now, do you get your own through Travel Guard or Insure America or do you take the tour company's insurance? Do you take the cruise line's insurance? I always said I can get my clients a better deal by using, say, Travel Guard or TravelX, which is excellent, than if you took the operator's insurance. We're old now. We are old. And the rates that we used to get for independent insurance, I can insure a $30,000 trip, $400 maybe. Okay, now it's looking like $2,000. So lately, I've been taking the cruise line insurance. I've been taking tour operator insurance, and it's so cheap that honestly, you can't go wrong. The only time is if it's not one of the best companies that they're using, you may have to think twice about it and go the bad route. All right, now I'm going to go on to just general bits and pieces. Passports. If you don't have a passport, and it must be valid for 6 months after you get to your destination in most countries. Passport offices are saying apply 4 to 6 months in advance if you can. Now they're running about 8 to 11 weeks, which is way better than it was. Or for $60, you can get expedited service, and that brings it down to only 5 to 7 weeks. Now, if you are somehow happening to be traveling with your family, and your family includes little kids, their passports are not 10-year passports. Sometimes they're 5-year passports. Sometimes if they're infants or like a year or two, they're valid for even less time. So when you can say to your daughter, is Maisie's passport okay? She says, oh yeah, yep, we got it not too long ago. And then when you go to check in and they look at Maisie's passport, well, it expired 2 years ago. So keep that in mind if you're traveling with young people. Have you signed up for any of the government trusted traveler programs? So Global Entry was the one than most people thought of if they're leaving the country and they don't want to stand in line coming back for entry into the country. I've seen lines wrap around the area and they don't move fast. So people pay $100, make application, and you will have 5 years of coverage for that $100. And there are times now we come in and they've got about probably 40 machines set up, go straight to the machine. We are out of there in 5 minutes. It's pretty amazing. The other one you're probably more familiar with is TSA Pre, and that we use a lot for domestic travel. And again, you don't have to take off your shoes, your belt, your computer. It really makes things go easy. And sometimes that line is very long too. You still will get through more quickly. And then there's a few others. If you travel,
It's clear.
Clear. Yeah, but Clear we use if you're coming in from either, I think it's Mexico or Canada. And I think it's more costly. Actually, I think it's 125 or something. Most of us don't need it. But if you go back and forth from Canada or Mexico, yeah, you may want to look into it. And you can find that information by just Googling government trusted traveler programs. COVID travel recommends. Well, here we go. It's changing all the time. And one day you can do it with 3 days notice. Other days, sometimes they're going to be down to 1 day. You have to know what the other countries' COVID policies are. Everyone's different. They've loosened up. Israel is now open. I mean, there are prerequisites, of course, but try to keep track of your destination if it's been closed, but all of a sudden, now you can go there. Let's see. There is a program that we call STEP, and it's a Smart Traveler Enrollment Program. Yes. And it's done through, well, it's actually Consular Affairs, but State Department. It's a very simple form you fill out right online, basically tells US government where you are if there's an emergency and they have to evacuate you. So take the time to do it. And you have to do it anew for each time you travel, of course, but it costs you nothing and it may save your life.
It's not just evacuations. We were getting postings on COVID status and warnings.
Oh, that's true. They were, yeah, Stu's right. They were giving us postings on COVID status, et cetera, because we were registered with them. All right, super organized person or whatever. You may want to have packing lists so that you don't miss things in your haste to get yourself ready. You can design a list for weekend travel, 1 week travel, longer travel, domestic, foreign. How formal will you be? Do you need a jacket? Do you need a tie? Do we need a dressy dress? So you can check your things off as you go. And if you have lists, you won't have to reinvent the wheel each time you travel. Have a last minute checklist called, I'm almost ready to close the door behind me. Do I have everything? Did I do everything? And not get in your transfer vehicle and say, oh my God, I never fed the cats. That for us would be a very big thing. Count the number of bags you're taking with you. Sadly, we're usually in the 8 to 10 bag category, but lots of people do it better. and keep counting every step of the way. Count your purse as part of your luggage because that's something you could easily forget and leave behind. Even include tote bags because those you'll never remember. If you're using a cane, use one of the thousands of return address labels that you get from 800 charities. Add a cell number, affix it very firmly to your cane, and then take extras that already have the cell number filled in and keep track of whether your tag is still there or not. But it really could help out. If you leave it in a restaurant, someone can call your cell and say, I got your cane. Airlines did that once. Okay. Why should you use a travel advisor? So I'm going to try to tell you this in my remaining 10 minutes. Okay. Why try to learn everything? And I'm going to actually read this because I was very specific. I don't want to miss things. Why try to learn everything and consider everything I've just talked about when a good, experienced travel advisor has been there and done that for you? A good travel advisor has learned over the years which company is reliable, which ones do they believe do a really good job all the time, where one says, yes, the traveler is always right, and they'll stand behind their product if things go amok, and they consistently deliver first-rate experience. We, as travel agents and advisors, we have our favorite insurance companies, tour operators, river and ocean cruise companies, because we've learned which ones are not and should not be our favorite. A savvy travel advisor has ways of giving the client what we call added value. By booking through certain travel resources we might be able to get you a free daily breakfast, early check-in, late checkout, upgrades, onboard credits for cruises, which applies sometimes hundreds of dollars to your account that you can use on board for tours, massages, etc., or free shore excursions. Even if you book a cruise, as an example, through Costco or AAA, a travel advisor can finish up your cruise by booking private guides, private excursions, rentals in any port or destination. We can rent for you, but you can do it yourself. There are companies that will deliver a scooter to your ship as you get off your ship. They will pick it up at your final destination, and you have a scooter on board for the whole trip. Could be a wheelchair, could be a walker, anything of that nature. So if we finish up, we can give you some of these added value items. While we would have loved to have booked your cruise or tour, frankly, we're all about making your experience even better by doing the add-ons. We work with companies who offer alternatives to the shore excursions being offered by your cruise line at significantly lower rates. Often, they are almost the very same excursion, just not as expensive. Many good advisors work closely with airline consolidators who can save you huge amounts on premium, business, and first-class travel. You will still get your airline miles, updates or changes to your itinerary, handle changes you may need to make to your itinerary as you go along, or even cancellations, where they can try to preserve your investment. My consolidator did wonders for the ones that I had, travelers going to Europe, and I had a lot of them scheduled for 2020, and they would have lost the value of their tickets. They kept them. We can help you navigate the daily changing world of travel in the time of COVID. For instance, I already said that. Every day I see a new Caribbean country that is eagerly inviting travel, as is Hawaii now. Before Hawaii said, please don't come, we can't handle you. Now they want you. The trick is you just have to know what you need to do in each place to comply with their regs. what COVID test do you need to get in, to get out, when, where. Being fully vaxxed is not enough to get you back into the United States. You still need a negative COVID test 72 hours before you come in. And there are companies now that can sell you their at-home test. Let's say you're going to be on a cruise will take care of you. But let's say you are now going on to another country, and where are you going to find a company that's going to test you? You have the test with you, you follow their directions, you get your negative test, hopefully, and you're good to go. Remember, I don't think I know of any travel advisor who charges their clients. We receive commission from the suppliers with whom we work when booking your vacation. That is our compensation. We want you to save money. We want to save money for you, not take it away. I hope that I have given you some real food for thought and lots of tips and answers. If you still have questions, though, in the remaining time, I'll be happy to try to answer them. Thanks for listening, and sorry for the scratchy voice. It comes with the territory these days. So
We didn't talk about medical travel special needs.
well, yeah, I didn't, but I will. I'm not going to start bringing something else up.
See if anybody has any questions.
So, anyone have questions?
Everybody unmute yourselves, please.
I'm sorry. I have a question about the travel insurance. You mentioned two companies, Travel Guard and Travel X. So those are the two you would recommend using?
Those are the ones I basically use. Yes.
Okay, because here's the thing, we're going on a cruise next June. And so the cruise line, we're getting the insurance from the cruise line, but my husband and I are planning on going like a week and a half early. We leave from Rome. So we're planning on going a week and a half early.
Okay, I
so
understand. I do understand your question, and I meant to cover that because when you step off that ship, your coverage is gone. At that point, yes, absolutely get trip insurance for the portion of the trip that you are going to be on your own, and really try to figure out how much your cost is going to be, how much your hotel's costing. Do you have guides? Anything that you need to cover, that's how you arrive at your cost. Same thing, going someplace first, no difference. Yeah, cover yourself and a tour company. So let's say the tour company starts in Rome, just as yours, and you're going to get there 5 days early. Again, while you've taken their coverage, you are not covered. So keep that in mind. It was a really good question.
Okay, so yeah, I thought I should get separate insurance.
And there are lots of other insurers. Those are the ones that I use mostly, and you could actually do a comparison to see which one gives you better rates and maybe better coverage, because they will be different. They're not the same.
They're not the same. So I am working with a travel agent for that portion. So should I talk to him about the travel insurance, or should I get it myself?
I'm a little surprised that they haven't talked to you about it.
Well, okay, so yeah.
Yeah, you can get it on yourself. I'll be honest, we make commission if we book trip insurance. That's not why we do it, but we do. So if the your travel agent hasn't said to you, how about trip insurance? You could be nice and say, would you book it for me?
Yeah.
Or you could say, well, you didn't think about it. I'll do it myself. But still,
No,
it's probably a cost.
Since it's a weird situation, but it's a different, I have one travel agent for the cruise and a different one that I'm working with for the other portion, because the cruise agent wasn't really interested in booking.
And that's what I find with people who book with Costco or AAA. They will book the exact component and do it well for you, but they don't want to bother with all the little other details, and it leaves you hanging. So that's why I'm saying, you book through Costco, book through AAA, fine. I would like to have had a booking, but I'm happy to make your trip a good experience. And next time, maybe you'll come to me.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah.
Not you personally, not you personally.
Okay.
The person.
All right, well, I'll let somebody else go. I mean, this guy really helped me with our trip that was planned that got canceled because of COVID. And so he got us most of our money back. So
That's wonderful.
yeah, so I want to give him the business.
Sure.
So, okay, let's.
Next one, yes.
I have something through, I think this came through my teachers union at
Uh-huh.
some point, and it's called Emergency Assistance Plus. And it's, are you familiar with that?
Yes, and that's just was saying you forgot to talk about that. That does not give you all the coverage that you would get through TravelX or Travel Guard. It won't handle lost luggage, bad connection, that sort of thing. It will get you out. It's emergency evacuation. However, when I do Travel Guard or TravelX, part of the package that I buy has got either 100,000, 500,000 evac coverage. So if I've got someone a really good basic trip insurance package, I don't usually suggest they then go ahead and then buy the emergency medical evacuation. They're duplicating. Now, if you get the tour companies, insurance, cruise companies, the companies they insure through sometimes do not give you adequate medevac. They'll give you 25,000. You're never going to get out of any place for 25,000 if it is in fact a medical emergency. They are expensive, and if you're in Africa and you don't want to be treated in Kenya, they'll get you out, but you should have at least, I would say, 250,000 for comfort. I hope that helps, but yes,
Yeah,
it does exist.
I'm not sure exactly what the coverage, what the top limit is. It just says that if you're sick, they'll fly you home. If this does say if your luggage is lost, they'll assist you in finding it and in replacing it. Now, I don't know what that means, but it says they'll give you a cash advance, hotel arrangements for convalescence, and it's pretty cheap. I mean, it's like $125 a year or something like that.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't believe there's a limit. If they say they will get you out, they will get you out.
I mean, it says that if you needed a nurse to come with you, or
Right.
They'll send. So I don't know. I mean, it seems to me that covers a lot of what I would.
It does. So you explore it and see if you are very comfortable with all the things it includes. But go on to one of the others and just see what they include, and then you can do a good comparison. Are we done, Tony?
Oh, no, I just had a comment about
Oh,
travel.
okay.
Because it's always overwhelming because each plan offers different variables of coverage. Some don't offer for stolen luggage. Some don't offer medical evaluation, evacuation or treatment. The better ones that you pay more premium for, we found, offer medical evacuation with first-class travel for the injured party and a medical, either nurse or doctor home with you. But we found that different ways we travel, the best way to deal with the insurance is to actually make a chart to see what each one is offering so that we know that everything we want is covered. The only thing we never found covered in a travel policy is a terrorist act. And if you know of one that covers a terrorist act.
Well, Tony, actually, if there is an act of terrorism in your destination, or say you have multiple destinations, you're hopping from Poland to Czechoslovakia, the Czech Republic, and all of a sudden there is a terrorist attack, or before you leave in any of the places you're going to be, you actually would be covered.
Okay.
Sometimes there's always the question of acts of God. And when the volcano erupted and they had to cancel flights all over the place, a lot of the insurers are saying that's an act of God. That's nothing that we were going to cover. But I would say the easiest thing to do is print out, do a pretend policy, print it out with all the coverage side by side of each one, and just go from one to the other. One of the things the Travel Guard I know covers is identity theft that carries over for a year after you get back. And I think that's terrific. TravelX, I did not see that specifically did. I talked to one of their reps. She said, I think we do, but yeah, I don't see it. So that's something to look for. That's relatively new over the last few years that's being offered. Anything else?
And Carol, it was a wonderful presentation. Thank you. I think it even tells people who are shy of using travel agents the benefits and things to consider to avoid stressing out over coordinating a lot of independent things. So thank you very much for your time.
How do
Eva,
we
do you
get a
have the
hold of-
question?
Yeah, how do we get a hold of you?
Oh, I'll give you my email. It's C as in cat, P as in Peter, Z as in zebra, travel @gmail.com. And I can give you my phone number because actually I like talking on the phone. It's 818-881-8517. And of course, we are in the temple directory. Nobody has a temple directory anymore.
The
Yeah.
Oh, I
temple
miss them.
directory is available online. It's very easy to use. If you go to the Adat.io website, it says, who are we? And there's a pull down and it says membership directory.
Yes, but when it's Marcia Schlesinger's birthday tomorrow and I didn't get a card ready, I don't have time to go look in the directory. I have my old temple directory.
I'm
So
sorry,
do
Carol,
I, but for
would you
updated
please
stuff.
repeat your email?
Yes, C as in cat, P as in Peter, Z as in zebra, travel
Travel.
@gmail.com. CPZ, those are my initials.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. So I wish all of you happy travels. I hope you've got stuff planned or really thinking about it, because I think we will be traveling in 2022. We just have to. We're sick and tired of staying home.
Yeah.
Home is nice.
Yeah.
But elsewhere is interesting.
Right.
Okay,
Thank you so much, Carol. That's
you're
really
so welcome.
wonderful.
I enjoyed it.
Thank
Okay,
you,
thanks a
Carol.
lot.
Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Maybe I'll see some of you on Zoom for Bee's Shiva tonight.
Yeah,
Mm.
well,
Yeah.
Oh, there's
That's
also,
another
there's
Zoom.
also
It's
a,
like we don't have enough, right?
there's also there's an interfaith,
Yeah, but that is being taped as well. So
okay,
for me, I'm choosing to go to Shiva
right,
and watch Rabbi Kaufman on
yeah,
record.
okay,
We all have our priorities.
absolutely,
we do
absolutely.
indeed.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye, Stu. Bye, Carol. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.